Good morning. Welcome. It's so nice to be here on this sunny morning here in beautiful Kalispell, Montana at Shining Mountain Center for Spiritual Living. We're so glad that you could join us this morning. It kind of makes my day complete to be able to interact with all of you. So I have a few housekeeping things before we start today's service. On the back table are prayer request forms. We love to pray here. So if you have something that's heavy on your heart or something you'd like us to celebrate with you, if you fill out one of those prayer request forms and put it in the prayer box, Reverend Yvonne and I will pray with you and for you all week. Also, you'll notice a couple of sign-up sheets back there, which I'll cover in the announcements. There are also forms to sign up to be included on our mailing list. We're so happy that you could be with us today, and now we have some beautiful music to share with you.
Think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand, put a little love in your heart. You see it's getting late, oh please don't hesitate, put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see.
Another day goes by, and still the children cry. Put a little love in your heart. If you want the world to know we won't let hatred grow, put a little love in your heart.
And the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see. And the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see.
So we've come to that place in our service where we do what we do every week, and that's to bless our children, all of the children of the world, the child within each and every one of us. So if you would join me in our blessing of the children. We see you, who you really are, made in the image and likeness of God. We cherish you, we support you, and we love you. So today is 9/11, and for those of us who are old enough to recall, we probably all remember. Do you remember where you were and what you were doing when you heard the news? I certainly do. But think about this. Today there are a growing number of Americans who have no personal memory of that day because they were too young or they weren't even born yet. And yet the tremendous impact of that day stays with us all, including them. The shock, the sadness, the fear, the anger, all those emotions were experienced that day. And today, there are many of us who are still working through those emotions, aren't we? Today, there are people who lost their families on 9/11 or as a result of 9/11. All of those firemen, policemen, etc., who developed cancer due to being in that environment, their families are still mourning them for that day. It had a great impact on our country. It had a great impact around the world. So how much fear, how much angst are we still holding on to? So I want to share with you a prayer for the world by Rabbi Harold S. Kushner. It was in Parade magazine in March of 2003. Let the rain come and wash away the ancient grudges, the bitter hatreds held and nurtured over generations. Let the rain wash away the memory of the hurt, the neglect. Then let the sun come out and fill the sky with rainbows. Let the warmth of the sun heal us wherever we are broken. Let it burn away the fog so that we can see each other clearly, so that we can see beyond labels, beyond accents, gender, or skin color. Let the warmth and brightness of the sun melt our selfishness so that we can share the joy and feel the sorrows of our neighbors. And let the light of the sun be so strong that we will see all people as our neighbors. Let the earth, nourished by rain, bring forth flowers to surround us with beauty. And let the mountains teach our hearts to reach upward to heaven. Amen. So it is.
Speak for me the truth that called me into being. Speak for me my name. Speak for me that which makes me extraordinary. And speak for me that others may hear the call of their lives, beckoning them beyond limitations, weaknesses, and mistakes. Speak for me the fullness of character, the passion, joy, and grace that paves a new way. May the wonder that drew us into the moment become light for our paths and bread for our journeys, and may it continue to speak to us, through us, and for us. It is a mighty work, woven of purpose and unbridled joy, that supports us ever and always. Speak for me a life that matters.
Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart.
Oh, thank you so much for that reading, Audie and Linda, for that beautiful prayer and for the music. Thank you. Musicians, thank you. Yeah. Wow. So let's just take a breath and allow this breath that is the breath of life. It is the life that is within us. It's the life of God through us. Let us just let it come easily and effortlessly. For it's the only breath we have. It is the life we're living right here, right now in this moment. So let us be aware of it and the power within it that supports us and is us. Yes. So thank you for talking about 9/11. Of course, that is, everywhere we look, we can see that, as well as the Queen Mother passing, and all kinds of things going on in our world. That's the thing about life. There's always new things happening. There will always be new challenges, new opportunities, new things that look like blessings, and new things that look horrific. That is the word that came to me when I was in Seattle, Washington on 9/11. It was the horror of it. I just finished 2 years of studies and then 2 years of practitioner training. So brand new practitioner. We were called to the church, any of us that were available, called to the church because Reverend Kathy Ann Lewis threw open the doors and said it was open for anyone to come to, that would like support or like to come in for prayer or meditation or just to be with others. We knew the mosque down the street was open. This is what people did, right? But I remember how inadequate I felt. I couldn't hardly, like many, many others, comprehend not only what happened, but was actually happening at the time. And I remember thinking, how can I support anyone? My heart knew truth, but my mind was going crazy. And that's what I want to talk about today. Not 9/11, but how the vocation we choose can be what we live from. Now, when I say vocation, I don't mean the job we have. I don't mean what we trained for out in the schools or on site or whatever. When I say vocation, I'm referring to the Latin meaning of vocare, which means voice. The voice we live from, which is the voice of spirit. That's what I want to talk about today. But first of all, I will tell you that this is what Pablo Picasso said. He said, if they take away my paints, I'll use pastels. And if they take away my pastels, I'll use colors. And if they take away my colors, I'll use a pencil. If they put me in a cell and strip me of everything, I'll spit on my finger and draw on the wall. He listened. He had a vocation. He lived from that which was within him, his desire to express spirit as the individual he was. I love that. If they take everything away and throw me in a dark cell, I'll spit on my finger and write and draw and sing on the wall. Because we sing from what we do also, not just through our voice. We sing through our actions. We sing through our feelings, and we sing from our voices. So, as I said, the word vocation comes from that Latin word vocar, which it means or voice. So, therefore, vocation is therefore the listening to the voice of Spirit, which lies within us. And not only listening, but then allowing it to express in and as us. That's what Picasso was saying. Nothing out here could stop what was within from expressing. And as I said, from when a horrible thing happens like 9/11, I felt immobilized. I'm sure many people did, even if it's momentarily. We're in the midst of the shock of the crises, the shock of the incident, the shock of the experience. But then we reach within. And it's like a dance or anything we learn with our muscles. Once we've trained ourselves, will pull us forward. So the training I received pulled me forward. I was so grateful to be in the presence of so many people who were experiencing exactly what I was, which was horror, the unknown, just that awful, awful feeling. And it was wonderful to be able to be with community, to not be alone. And that's what I encourage us to do is as the more authentic we are, sometimes the more we pull back. Well, what if Diane knows about that I can't do such and such a thing, or that I have done something? No, the more authentic we are with ourselves, the more authentic we can be with others. Because what happens is we provide a space and an allowance. There's this feeling of being allowed, a feeling of safety to be authentic also. Oh, that was your fear? Yes, that was my fear. Oh my gosh, I experienced that same fear. Yeah. It took you 7 years to move through your grief? Yeah, I understand that. It took me a long, long time. Not sure if I'm completely through it, but so we share. And we become more of that space and that expression of Spirit through us and as we're listening, as we're hearing that inner summons, because that's what it is. The vocation is the inner summons of us to listen and respond. Not just listen, but listen and respond. And it's okay. It's so okay, because this was exactly what many of us, after we did our gathering sometime later and processed what each of us as practitioners experienced and went through, and I'm sure many, many groups did this, we realized it was okay not to have a pat answer. It was okay not to just be the smiling face. It was okay to be present. To be present. That was enough. That was enough. That's what we were called to do, was to be present. So the work of our soul is to create a life that matters, to really, really get in there and look at the vocation we have that we are calling and developing as our life, because it's coming from within us. So we don't invent our lives. We're not soul creators. What we do is we're the architects, and we develop the qualities that we want to express in our lives, because they all exist. We don't create love. We don't create beauty. We don't create grace. What we do is touch into, recognize, and embody those things, but we didn't create them. Even when we bring them forth in our lives, we're not the creator. We're the architect who brings it in. We're co-creators with Spirit. We're co-creators of this life. So this week, I'm going to focus on the truism of Parker Palmer, who pointed this out to us. This is what Parker Palmer said. Before you tell your life what you intend to do with it, listen to what it intends to do with you. Before you tell your life what traits and values you have decided to live up to, let your life tell you what truths you embody and what values you represent. Or as the Quakers say, let your life speak. Let your life speak. Because how we live each day is really how we're living our lives. What we're doing each day is how we're living our lives, whether if it's from a place of fear, or it's a place of believing in lack and limitation, if it's a place of feeling like limited possibilities, or if it's a place of fear, of separation, or if we're living from that place of infinite possibility, and a place of I'm growing and becoming more of that which I am created as. We're living our life daily, though, on the belief of what life is for us. So each of us every day have the opportunity to put more meaning into our lives. Not look for the meaning, but put more meaning in it, depending on what it is that we're listening to, what we're going to summon forth from spirit within. What are we summoning forth from spirit within? Well, we have to listen. We have to listen and then move into a state of action for it. What is the action? I want to tell you a story about a Hasidic tale retold by Martin Buber. A rabbi died and went to stand before the judgment of God. And as he waited for God to appear, he was really nervous. He thought, I just don't know what God's going to ask me. But I'm afraid it's going to be that I haven't done enough. And what I did do was just minor. So as he was imagining what God was going to say to him, God walks in. And he was so shocked by what God said to him. He didn't say, why aren't you Moses? Why aren't you David? Why aren't you Solomon? God said to him, why aren't you you? Why weren't you you in the life that you chose? I love that little story because I could see places in my life where I thought I was this, and then I thought I needed to be that, and then I decided this looks better. And most of the time there were only smidgets of authentic self being expressed. There were only smidgets of truth being experienced and lived from. Because that's a process called maturation. It's a process called deepening. That's what my life has been. That's probably what most of our lives are. It's a time of growth. And we move into becoming more of who we are. And I so believe that we are intended to be exactly who we are. Authentically. Exactly. So it's just perfect when we realize the perfection is within us and not out there in what we're going to do or accumulate or become. It's within us, and as we experience it and express it, it becomes that gift to the world, that purpose that we are here for, that reason that we wake up in the morning, and if we have that joy, it's being expressed from our spirit because we are aware that we are not a mistake, and that there's more joy for us, more well-beingness of spirit, and more opportunity for us to give. So as I said, the Quakers say, let your life speak. So I want to talk about 3 parts to that. And the first part's the inward journey, right? So when we allow our lives to begin to speak to us, it would be unwise of us not to listen, right? It's unwise of us to get an intuition, to hear that small voice inside, or to be drawn to this and not listen to it. It would be unwise of us not to follow the wisdom of the soul. It will not mislead us. It might not take us into what we thought we wanted to experience in the way we thought we wanted to experience it, because we've got other stuff attached to it. Other stuff. But Spirit does not, and never will misdirect us. So when we use the vocation of our lives, the voice within to live from, then we're making room for those signs and signals that many of us are looking for. I have a dear, dear friend that every single thing that she has a question about, she asks for signs, and she gets them. She gets them. I love that. So if we will receive what we believe we can receive. We will receive that. If we believe in that we're going to get signs and that's the only way we're going to move forward, and that belief is stronger than the idea that there's not always a sign, we're going to get it. We're going to get those signs. Now, whether we pay attention to them or not, it's entirely up to us. It's entirely up to us. But when we let our life speak through us, it invites truth, the deeper truth, to be our guide, to be that touchstone for us, to be the reason that we fulfill our purpose here on earth. So truth will first be known in us or by us, and then it's through us, and then as us. So first we receive it, then we embody it and see how it works for us and what it really means to us, and then we express life as it. So to us, by us, and through us. And that's how our soul is able to, I believe, utilize the strength, the love, the passion, the creative expression that we are to come forth. So again, the vocation is not a job or a role. It's the yes that's whispered so quietly by our soul. Our vocation is, yes, Suzanne, you are most important in this tapestry of life that God created, which needs every single one of us to be complete and needs the gifts that we all bring to come forth. And then we have the outward journey. The inward is the declaration of life and how we're going to live it. But the outward is when we decide to free ourselves from these images we have of it's not possible or they're to blame. I saw an acronym for war, and I read the story, and it just stuck with me. But what stuck with me was war, that word, war. The acronym is We Are Right. How many of us have been at war with ourselves, trying to make ourselves wrong? How many of us have been at war with our loved ones, family, neighbor? How many of us have heard of things of wars themselves, declared wars? 9/11, the next day, honestly, on the radio, there was an announcer who said, "We are at war." So we want to free ourselves from that "we are right" idea. We are right for us. Let others be right for them, and let us come together. let us come together. Huge, huge impact on our world with COVID. It changed so many things. You want to talk about change in the world, shifts, fear. We're still experiencing it. But here's what we're invited to do when we listen to that, the voice within, when we look at what our vocation can be. It is absolutely essential that we allow we are right to fall, to let it go. How about just we are? We are one. We are needing each other. We are support for each other. We are discovering things together. We are letting go and making changes together. We are more than we know. I think that's Jesse Jennings has a book that says, "We are more than we know." It's a fabulous book because it's true. That might not be. Is that the name of it? We are more than we think. That's what it is. Than we think we are. So when life speaks to us, when we listen, it is speaking about our purpose and our intention and our wholeness all the time. That's what life is speaking to us. So when we are able to be open to that, we have discovered a whole new arena of possibility for good, not only for ourselves, because that's where it starts. We will experience it first, whether it's good or bad. If we're thinking it and embodying it, we experience it first, and then we take it out. So when we listen to Spirit speak through us, and we choose to allow our lives to be a place of grace where love is spoken, then we're allowing others. We are not right. We are now. We are there. We are open. And we are giving and receiving. But we don't have to be right. So then we need to move into the action part, the speak new life and embody our wholeness. So first we do the inner work, and then we see that it embodied it, what we can do, and then we take action with it. That's what we're doing every single day. But let us consider doing it with the idea I have a vocation, and my vocation is listening to Spirit. And if I listen to Spirit, then Spirit directs me to do better than I have chosen to do. When I was cranky this morning, but thank goodness I was cranky with someone who allowed me the space to make amends just like that. What a graceful gift I received. Didn't even have to discuss it. I apologized, and I was loved. That's what we grow through. That's what we grow from. That authentic place of being. So this is what W.H. Auden said. He says, you owe it, every one of you. Look at the finger going. You owe it to all of us. You owe it to all of us to get on with what you're here to do. You owe it to the world to get on with what you're here, your gift that you have to give. You owe it to the world. That's what we're pulled in here for. I don't know how. I don't know if there's a life before and a life after. I honestly don't know, and I honestly don't know anyone who knows for certain. But whatever we embrace, let's do our best while we're here. Let's assume we're magnificent expressions of Spirit. Let's assume that Spirit has never made a mistake in that which it created. Are you up for that? Yeah. Then we get to look at what it is that we're seeing and calling wrong. and embrace it step by step. Not making it different, just making ourselves different. Allowing our vocation to be what we live from, not just what we do. It was Annie Dillard that said, how we spend our days, of course, is how we spend our lives. She is a great author. I love to read that woman's stuff, but she's so right on. How we spend our days is how we spend our lives. And there's so much that can take up our time and our attention in our lives every day. Can you imagine? I gained 10 pounds in the last few months. I don't know how it happened, but it happened by something happening almost daily, right? Yeah, we have to pay attention. Attention. If I don't pay attention, something gets my attention. So becoming aware and committed to our vocation opens us up to a life worth pursuing. And so, yes, we will have the challenges, the great big ones that we've already been through, we can name, and the smaller ones. And there'll be questions. And there'll be people we disagree with. And there'll be experiences we'd wish we could never, if we could choose them, we wouldn't. And there'll be things we think we've missed out on. And there'll be people we'll want to blame. Because that's what life looks like. And there'll also be the joys and the accomplishments and the discoveries and the love shared and the awe and the everything that is beautiful too. So we just go with it, through it, listening to the heart and responding from the truth. And the truth is only God. There's only God. So I invite you to join me in prayer. But I'll read this by Henry Nguyen. It says, in a world so torn apart by rivalry, anger, and hatred, we have the privilege of choosing the vocation to be living signs of a love that can bridge all divisions and heal all wounds. So I turn my attention to the all-giving, all-loving, everywhere present power of love that I call God. That which is beyond any description I could attach to it, any thought I might have of it. That which is unchanged by my disbelief or my fear, but that which is always with me, whether I recognize it or not. And as I know this is true for me, I know that it is true for all of its creation. Every single one of us are held and surrounded by its love, by the love of God, the power of God, the intelligence of God, the wisdom of God. And so may we recognize whatever our purpose is that our soul is whispering to us. Whether it's huge or very small and very easily done, it is important. Everything that we contribute to the greater good for all is a diamond, is a jewel in this thing called life. And so I am grateful for every single person and every single opportunity for us to love ourselves and love another. For everything we experience is either an expression of love or a call for love. And I know that we are called to be expressions of love. And therefore we are equipped to meet that which comes before us, that which comes in front of us, and that which has already happened. In the now, right here, right now, we are the expression of love, created out of itself in its image. And supported, guided, and uplifted as we listen to that voice, the voice of spirit within, the whisper of yes from our soul. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. So it is. Amen.
Heaven guide me, heaven show me the way, heaven guide me, heaven show me the way, when I'm lost and confused, heaven lead the way, when I'm reaching for you, will you meet me halfway? Heaven guide me, Spirit show me the way, Spirit guide me, Spirit show me the way, when I'm lost and confused, Spirit show the way, when I'm reaching for you, will you meet me halfway? Heaven guide me, heaven show me the way, heaven guide me, heaven show me the way, when I'm lost and confused, heaven lead the way, when I'm reaching for you, will you meet me halfway? Heaven guide me, heaven show me the way, heaven guide me, heaven show me the way.
Thank you, Dawn and Red Star, Jamila and Audie. Beautiful as always. So we've come to that time in our service where we get to put into practice the law of circulation, For those of you in the sanctuary, there's a basket on the back table. For those of you who are joining us online, there is a donate button on our website. So I'd like you to take your tithe, your gift, your offering, not only in your hand, but in your heart, and join me in this prayer of spiritual giving and receiving. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. So I want to thank Becky, Papa Roo, Gray Wolf, Mary, Tracy, Jane, and Ron for joining us online today. And anyone else who should happen to join us later, we thank you. We hope you come back again. We hope you enjoyed our service. We love you and we bless you.